Hi there, William. It's really nice of you to spend some time with me today. And I know that we are going to be talking about Values into Action Scotland, which is a registered charity, registered with Companies House. It was founded in 2007 and operates throughout Scotland from a base in Glasgow. Last year, the charity generated income of 496,678 and has 5 full-time staff and 11 part-time staff. I think it would be useful to give you VIAS's mission statement, which is, we believe in a Scotland where people with learning disabilities or autism have the same opportunities as everyone else and are supported to achieve these goals, whether to work, live where they want, or to have a relationship. The board has 12 trustees, 6 of whom have lived experience. And I have the pleasure of chatting to William Ray today, co-chair of VIAS, about the importance of having that lived experience on the board. So again, welcome, William, and thank you for spending the time with me today.
Thank you very much, Elaine, for allowing me to do this and for the pleasure of your time.
Thank you. So the first question I have is that the VIAS board is quite big with 12 trustees, and a lot of different areas generated nearly £500,000 of annual income last year. So what, in your view, are the key elements that make it work?
The key elements, in my view, that make it work are the fact that the board is made up of a mixture of individuals with lived experience as well as professional experience. But what really makes it work is the way that the board information papers are presented in a very easy read format, and a straightforward format, where if you miss a board meeting, you can pick up the agenda for the next board meeting with the last board minutes and know exactly the action points, what was decided, and exactly what the thoughts of the board were. Even with the RAG report, where Norma Curran, our CEO, brings it in colours, the traffic lights. So red is where the project's in danger, amber is where the project needs some work, and green is where the project is working absolutely perfectly.
So that sounds really clear. And I think with the work that I do with organisations, I think it's key that information is provided in a format that is very easily digestible by all of the trustees. So not just the ones who can understand figures and management accounts, but if the information is presented as you're suggesting in a very digestible fashion, and I love the use of colour coding, I think that's going to be really useful for everybody and ensure that there's very active debate around the board table, which is what you want. So just thinking, so can you give an example of what makes the lived experience on the board so vital to decision making at VIAS?
I think what makes the lived experience so much as a massive decision is where the lived experience folk can have their voice heard, and are 9 times out of 10, it's the decisions made after they've heard from the voice of the lived experience people on the board. I would say probably 10 times out of 10 recently, a lot of the decisions have come after what someone with lived experience has said, or it's been something that a person with lived experience has led on. And it's really made a massive, vital difference, because it's not a professional trying to guess, but actually hearing from people who have gone through it or are currently even going through it, you know, the journey of whatever the decision is being made.
So that vital, if you like, coalface information being presented at the board level is resulting in much, much better decisions being made for service end users at VIAS and everyone who uses any of the services that VIAS provides throughout Scotland.
Yeah, very much so.
Again, that should be happening in every board. Yeah,
I believe that. In the back of that, I'm kind of hoping that nearly by the end of the year that we'll see more people lived experience who've been on the coalface on boards and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely vital to have that input at the board level. just what do you find, because you and I are both trustees, and we're trustees and we have multiple roles, although you have more roles than I do. Not that it's a competition, but what do you find are the best things about being a trustee?
Best things about being a trustee is that you can shape services you're part of. You can change things within. You know, if you spot an issue on the coal face, you can change it at board level and make it better for everybody. You know, as you said, Elaine, I'm on quite a number of organisations and I'm a trustee on several. We would be here all day if I rattled them. I think Evias is just one of them. But it's also gained me skills and confidence to take across all of the organisations I'm a trustee on, not just at Evias, but I've learned skills, you know, that I can take into my role as a community councillor, my role as an elder in the Church of Scotland, that even stuff from like the church, I can take into Evias, stuff from community council, I can take, you know, into the church and all of that, and it all really interlinks and is great. Being a trustee of a number of organisations, but especially Evias, which is one with a board of 50% professionals and 50% of people with lived experience trustees, but you're also gaining as well as a lived experience trustee from the support from the professional trustees as well.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, actually, that working together and also sharing the knowledge to the other roles that you have within other organisation, because then that's raising the governance bar and making a lot more boards more effective. I've got one last question for you, William, if you've got time. So what are the not so good things about being a trustee?
The not so good things about being a trustee is the preparation time. The fact that some nights I'm up till 2-3 in the morning just reading board papers, because some weeks they'll all fall in the same week. You know, I know where I've got maybe one on a Monday and I'm doing the prep on a Sunday night for that. And then I'm maybe going into that meeting on the Monday, and then on the Tuesday, I'm doing the prep for the one on the Wednesday. You know, on the Wednesday, I'm going to that meeting. On the Thursday, I'm doing the prep for a Friday one. And nobody likes to be going to meetings on a Friday night. But maybe on a Friday evening, you're doing prep for, you know, one you maybe got that pops up on a Saturday or something, you know.
Yeah, so
don't get time off to yourself.
Yes, and you and I have talked about that, about if you have multiple board roles, the meetings tend to be around the same time of the quarter or at the end of the month. And so, yes, and there always is a lot of pre-reading, but that's a vital part of being a trustee, because you should absolutely read every report that is sent ahead of the board meeting, and then you can contribute more meaningfully in the discussion that takes place at the board meeting. So
even as we're doing this recording, I'm looking at some of the documents for one of my trustee meetings tonight, and it's like, I'm looking at going, jeepers, it's that thick, you know. You know, I've got all that to read, you know, and it's not in an easy read format, so you can't pick it up and go, oh, that's a decision I look for there, and there, you know.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm not going to take up any more of your time, because I feel that's fine. You've got a couple of hours reading ahead of you. Can you, if there's one thing that you would like to leave us with, what do you think is your top tip for being a successful trustee?
Top tip for being a trustee is that no silly question. There is not such a thing as a silly question. And if you think you've got the gifts and skills to be a trustee on any organisation, whether it be Evias or any organisation you're part of, give it a go. You know, you're not going to lose anything. You'll gain skills and qualities, but just give it a go. And I would say to those boards and organisations that maybe don't have lived experience people on it, you know, have a think. Is there somebody within your organisation who has been at the coalface and has got that lived experience that would be good in the boardroom?
Perfect. Thank you very much, William. I really appreciate it, and especially giving everyone the benefit of your your experience and expertise in Trustees Week this year. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Elaine, for your time as well.